Hi everybody, it's Richard here again and welcome to another video. This time I'm going to look at one of my favourite artists of all time. In fact, he would probably be second only to David Bowie, and that is Marc Bolan. I'm going to take a look at the T.Rex singles from 1970, from whenever they had started having success with Ride a White Swan up to his death with his last single, Celebrate Summer, in 1977. But I thought I would add a few more because there has been some posthumous releases and some of them are actually quite good. So I'm not going to pick every posthumous release and put this in my little ranking video. But I'm going to take about 4 or 5 of, well, maybe 3 or 4 of the most important ones. So I'm not going to include any remix singles or any mashups or any medleys or anything like that there. So I'm also not going to include the Tyrannosaurus Rex singles. They have 5 of them, and the reason being is that they sound so different to the T-Rex singles, and luckily enough another reason is I don't have any, so I can't really include those. So overall there's 28 singles to go through, and I'll talk a little bit about each of them. I'm not going to say I love every single here, because there's some I actually don't quite like at all. I only get them because I want the collection to be complete. But Marc Bolan was huge in the UK and made 4 number 1s, 4 number 2s, a number 3 and a number 4, but he never managed to do it in America. I think that his only success was Get It On, which was retitled Bang the Gong in the US, and I think it hit the top 10, I believe, I'm not so sure. So it was never huge in America, but I think there's a lot of people, I've seen a lot of Americans and Canadians on the VC actually show some T-Rex stuff, which is great. But I'll go through some of the singles now. I do have all the original singles from 70 to 77, but unfortunately a lot of them aren't in picture sleeve, which is pretty crap whenever you're showing records. So I'm actually going to pick the ones that I do have reissues that are on picture sleeve just to show them. So at number 28, and my least favourite T-Rex single, comes from 1976, and it's Laser Love, and I think this is crap. It's very wimpy, wispy, and it's an attempt to have a little catchy hit with a little dance routine, and I just don't think it works very well. I have actually heard a live version of this, which is far better, but for me Laser Love is not a great song, and it just scraped the top 40 or just below it, number 42 maybe, and it was his last hit in his lifetime. So that's Laser Love from 1976. Number 27, and it is a duet, Marc Bolan and Gloria Jones, and they do To Know You Is To Love You, which is the old Phil Spector song, To Know Him Is To Love Him. This is okay, but it's very sugary, so it is extremely sugary. It's not bad, but no, I'll pass on it, to be quite honest with you, and it failed to chart, and this was from 1977. Number 26, also from 1977, and I lied, the first one, Laser Love, wasn't his last. This was actually his last hit, and this got to about number 42 or so, and this is The Soul of My Suit, and this is from the Dandy and the Underworld album. I like the music of this, but I just don't like the words. I don't understand what the soul of my suit means. Soul of my suit? No, Marc Bolan's lyrics always were nonsensical, but this takes it to a limit for me, and I think it destroys the song. Now again, I've heard like a live version of this, which is far better than the really polished studio version, so that is my number 26. Number 25, and I'm starting to like this a lot more than I used to, and this is from 1976, and this is London Boys, and this was a standalone single. It was actually released the same week as the Futuristic Dragon album. It wouldn't have fitted on the Futuristic Dragon album because it was actually recorded in late 74, early 75, and it was held back for nearly a year for release. This was a brand new song. It's okay, it's a little bit repetitive, and it was originally to be part of a London opera which Marc was considering doing. He always had these great plans for things and he never followed them through. It's okay, not bad. So that's number 25, London Boys. Number 24, and from 1975, and the second single from the yet released Futuristic Dragon. This is Dreamy Lady. This is awash with keyboards. It's okay again, it's not a bad song, it's a little bit sweet again. On the album Futuristic Dragon there was a couple of songs which would have been far better as singles. They would have been Sensation Boulevard and Jupiter Liar, but this managed to scrape into the top 30. Now by 1975 Marc Bolan was forgotten about. He tried to conquer America and he more or less came back with his tail between his legs. He still thought he was the biggest rock star ever, but he was in denial, let's say. So this is 24, Dreamy Lady. 23, and after he passed, I'm going to include this. The record company released a double A side from the Dandy and the Underworld album, early 78, and this is Crimson Moon, back with Jason B. Sad. Yeah, this is we're starting to get better songs now. It's pretty good, but it didn't chart. I thought it might have charted. If it had been released straight after his death, it could have charted, but they waited about 4 or 5 months, and by that time, no. And this is actually the last single on the T.Rex Wax Company label under the Marc, I'm not too sure which one this is, it's Marc something or other. It's probably about Marc 20, I can't really see that. Let me open this up. And this will show you the actual labels that Marc had in. This is Marc 19, and these are the labels that all the T.Rex Wax Company songs, singles and albums came in. So this was the last of the original ones that was released shortly after his death. So that is my number 23. Number 22, and his last top 20 hit is I Love to Boogie. And this got to number, I think it was about number 13 in 1976. It was a bit of a comeback for him, although he did chart the previous year, top 20, but this one, a lot of the fans love this. This is a complete steal from the Webb Price song Teenage Boogie. Just stick it on YouTube and you'll see that he really borrowed very heavily from it. It's not the first one either, there's another one to come which he completely ripped off, but we'll get to that. So I Love to Boogie, it's a simple little rockabilly rock and roll number. It's okay, I think it's quite good. Number 21, and the top 30 hit near the end of 1974 is Light of Love. It's the lead off track of Bolan's Zip Gun. It was a change of style. He knew he had to change his style because, you know, he was getting a lot of criticism for all the singles sounding the same. This does sound different, but it's a little bit lightweight again. But I do enjoy this a lot more than I did whenever I started getting back into Marc Bolan around 1980. Because in 1973 he was my hero, and I had a poster on my bedroom wall of the poster that was given to me from my cousin. It was actually the free poster with the Electric Warrior album, and I wished to God I had kept it, but I didn't. But whenever I got back into music again in around 1980 with the Ride a White Swan Music for Pleasure album, and I got this on the solid gold T.Rex album, this was one of my least favourites, but I do actually quite like this now. Okay, number 20, and this was from 1981. And this is the Return of the Electric Warrior EP, and this is Sing Me a Song. This was the it was the theme tune to the Marc series. Again, it's very lightweight, and there's a far better version called Write Me a Song on the album Final Cuts, which is far better and would have been much higher up my list if it had been released as a single. But in 1981, when I was heavily into this guy, to see this in the record shops, oh, it was magnificent, brilliant. But again, it's a bit lightweight, but it's enjoyable. Number 19 I showed in my last video, and this is the Christmas one. This should have been released in '75 as a single. I think this is really good. It was released in 1982. It didn't chart. I think he should have gambled, because I do believe that this would have gone down quite well, and I think it would have been played more often these days if it had have been a hit back then. I know this features in some Christmas compilations, and I remember hearing this featuring on a Christmas TV special of the Hairy Bikers. This was playing in the background, which was great to hear. So that's number 19, Christmas Bob. Number 18 is from a side project called Big Carrot, and the song is Blackjack, and the B-side is Squint Eye Mangle, and this is Marc fooling around. It's instrumentals with just backing vocals. There's backing, but there's no actual song, and I think it's really good, and it shows a little bit of the sound of the Zinc Alloy album. This was recorded in '73, and it showed that sort of edgy guitar that Marc had. So I enjoy this. I think it's very, very good. Again, it didn't chart, but I don't think anybody knew about it at the time. If they had have known, it would have charted. Maybe not very highly, but still would have charted. Number 17, and this is Mellow Love from 1982, and this is from, I think, probably around the last recording that he ever did. Would this have been a single if he'd have been alive? If he had stayed alive, I don't know. It may have been. I think it's a very good pop song, much better than some of the stuff he was releasing in the last year or so. But yeah, this got airplay on Radio 1, because that's where I heard it, was actually on Mike Reed's breakfast show, and I didn't know it was released as a single. We didn't have the internet in those days, so when I got it, it was great. Mellow Love, and that's number 17. Number 16 in 1974, and this was his first flop. I got to about 41, and this is Zip Gun Boogie. I think this is actually very good. Again, the live version's better, but the album Bolan Zip Gun did nothing in the UK, unfortunately. So Zip Gun Boogie is a good descending riff to this. It's a bit clunky, but live is excellent, and the B-side of this is Space Boss from the same album. Number 15, and funny enough, this got to number 15 in 1975, and this is New York City. Excuse me. And this actually has the same riff as 1 Inch Rock, but it's a great song. I really do enjoy this. It deserved to be a single as well, and this was the lead off from Futuristic Dragon. But as I said before, Futuristic Dragon was released about, it must have been 6 months after this. So good song, and one of his last big hits. Number 14, and one of the most repetitive songs ever, and that's Truck on Tyke. I used to hate this, but I actually really love it now. I think he sings the word truck on about 68 times or something. Somebody counted it. It is very repetitive, but it's got a really good melody. The chorus of it is a little bit clunky, but I enjoy it, and this was again the start of the downfall. This was the first one not to hit the top 10 in 1973, but it did stay in the charts for about 13 weeks, so it stayed there for quite a while. It just failed to manage to get into the top 10. Okay, next one up is number 13, and this is his last single whenever while he was alive, and this is Celebrate Summer, and he promoted this a few times, or a couple of times at least, on the Marc show. This failed to chart. This is a great little number. It was also used in the ads for Woolworths, and it was always great to hear Marc's music in any sort of ad, and this Celebrate Summer, great catchy little number. Number 12, and this is Dandy in the Underworld. This is a single version from the LP track. This is a really good song. This has got more guitars on it than the actual LP version. Very, very good song, and again, failed to chart, 1977. Now we're getting into the monster hits, and number 11 I'm going to go with Solid Gold Easy Action. Number 2 hit in 1972, kept off number 1 by Little Jimmy Osmond's long-haired lover from Liverpool, Disgrace. But there you go, a glam classic. This, really love it. You know, in anybody else's discography this would be higher, but Marc Bolan's singles from 70 to 73 were excellent, so this is probably the least. Number 11 in my chart. And number 10 in my chart is this is Children of the Revolution, and this got to number 2 as well in 1972, kept off the number 1 by Slade's Mama We're All Crazy Now, which Jim Lee was delighted about, because in those days there was a bit of a sort of a rivalry between T.Rex and Slade. Love both songs, but this is fantastic, and this is the only single to have the white and red rather than the blue and red for the label and the sleeve. And funny enough, this has got 2 B-sides, Jitterbug Love and Sunken Rags, which are every bit as good, so this is an absolutely brilliant single. Number 9, and his last number 1 hit, and that's Metal Guru from 1972, featuring on the Slider album. And again, there's 2 fantastic B-sides on this, Thunderwing and Lady, that weren't on any albums. Another glam rock classic. Number 8, and this is Teenage Dream from 1974, and this featured on the Zinc Alloy album, and this is a very self-reflecting song, although the lyrics are weird as hell again. But whatever happened to the Teenage Dream, I think he realised he wasn't as popular as he was, but he wouldn't admit it. So Teenage Dream, and it's a piano intro song, and a lot of fans say that the guitar solo on this is awful. I think the guitar solo on this is great. It's a very adventurous single, and it got to number 13 in the charts. Okay, number 7, and we have Telegram Sam, number 1 hit from 1972. It features the B-sides Baby Strange, which was on the Slider along with this, and the absolutely fantastic Cadillac, which was considered itself as being a single, but Telegram Sam got in there. It's a great little glam rock number, and I remember my cousin had this as a single, and I remember him asking them to play it so many times for me. Loved it. Telegram Sam, number 7. Number 6, and I bought the original single in 73, and it's The Groover, and it's got to number 4 in the charts, his last top 5 hit, and I love it. It is a bit repetitive at the end, but I just think it's a really good rocking number, and it's just brilliant. And this was a standalone single again. This did not feature on Tanks or Zinc Alloy. Number 5 from 1973, which got to number 3 in the charts, is 20th Century Boy, and again this is probably one of his most famous ones now, because this was used in one of the jeans ads in the early 90s, and it did extremely well. It got top 20, but this has got one hell of a riff, and again did not feature on any album. And the B-side Free Angel is a very good song, another non-album song. Okay, number 4, and the biggest rip-off, pardon the pun because it does come from Electric Warrior, is this one here, which is Jeepster, and this is a complete steal from Howlin' Wolf's You'll Be Mine. Not only does he sort of steal the guitar licks, he steals some of the lyrics with You're So Sweet, You're So Fine. That's the nice, hold on, there we go there. But this is another great rockin' number, and I think he played this nearly every concert, and he opened the concerts a lot with this song. Brilliant song from a brilliant album, and that's my number 4, Jeepster. Number 3, the big hit in America, I'll go with Get It On, again from Electric Warrior. I love it. It's probably his most famous song, along with the 20th Century Boy. Great song, great number, and the B-side of this is the best B-side ever, apart from The Man Who Sold the World by David Bowie. Although it's an album track, that this one here was not on an album apart from compilations. which was There Was a Time and Raw Ramp. Absolutely fantastic. Now number 2 and number 1 I'm struggling with because I don't know I'm going to put them both together, so I'll go with this one. And number 2 I'm going to go with his first number 1 hit single, Hot Love. This I just think is a magnificent song. It is reminiscent a little bit of Hey Jude by the Beatles with the la la la's rather than the na na na's. But this is really what started glam rock. Whenever he performed this on Top the Pops, one of the makeup artists put a little bit of glitter, a little glitter teardrop under one eye, and glam rock be gone. Well, that's what they say. But yeah, fantastic song. Is about 4.5 minutes long as well. Brilliant. And I suppose my favourite would have to be the one that really broke them into the charts, and this is Ride a White Swan, and this is 2 minutes and 15 seconds of sheer brilliance. It is reminiscent a little bit of Chuck Berry, but not too much, but it's done in a very, very gentle way. Glam rock hadn't begun this by this time, so they were still, he wasn't dressing up or anything like that there. He was still a hippie, but with an electric guitar, and I just absolutely love this. I've never got sick of it. And Morrissey even stole the riff of this for his Certain People I Know single from 1992. But this here got to number 2 and was kept off the top by Clyde Dunn's Grandad. And I forgot to say that with the Jeepster single, which got to number 2, it was kept off by Benny Hill's Ernie. So he's had a bit of bad luck with Novelty Records keeping his songs off the top, but still 4 number 1s. Okay, that's me for now. That's my rundown of T.Rex's singles. Again, I just love Marc Bolan, and very, very important in my musical history, because he's been there from the word go, really, and I'm still buying records. I'm still buying reissue singles. I'm building up the collection again. The CDs I have of him are ridiculous. I've got so many. So anyway, that's me for now. I just want to wish everybody a very, very happy Christmas and a great new year. Okay, now all the best. Bye bye.